Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I will be ranking all of the Batman films. This is one that is going to be up for debate with the new Batman out. Where does it rank amongst the original ones and the old ones in the Dark Knight trilogy? Does it fall at the top? Does it fall at the bottom? Does it fall in the middle? I don't know, but that's what we're going to talk about. So I have got the films here ready and done. So what we are focusing on the Batman 89, Batman Returns. Then you've got Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. You got the Nolan trilogy as well. Then the new Batman. And also I've thrown in Batman vs Superman in here as well. So I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on these movies and where I rank them. But let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of my list? And where do you rank them? Smash it down below. Smash that like button for me and click subscribe. And without further ado, let's jump into this ranking video. Number 9. Batman and Robin. I mean, does anyone surprised by this by any means? This movie is not very good, and I really don't like this. From the casting choice of George Clooney as Batman, that just didn't feel like Batman, and didn't feel like Bruce Wayne, and just felt very off. It just didn't work. Adding in Robin there as well. I mean, I don't mind Robin in the two movies, but I just felt like this one was just so wacky and so fantasy and so out of this world that I don't think it's very much more gimmick than anything else. You've obviously got Mr. Freeze in there, you've also got Poison Ivy, and you've got Bane. I do not like Bane in this at all. Bane just does not work in this movie at all. The story doesn't work at all. Poison Ivy, while portrayed decently, just doesn't work. Mr. Freeze with Arnold Schwarzenegger just does not work either. I just felt like this movie was just a lot of stuff that they wanted to do that just didn't work, and it just fell very, very flat, and the performances weren't that great. It just doesn't have anything that grasps you and gets you to go in and watch it. So for me, Batman and Robin easily comes in last. Number 8, Batman vs Superman. I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. While I don't absolutely despise it, I don't like it either. I think there's so many things wrong with this movie. Batman as Ben Affleck as Batman, I have no problems with. I like Ben Affleck as Batman, and I think he's really, really good in this movie. There are some questionable decisions made for the character of Batman, but I guess they did have that little tease to the Joker killing someone in this movie, potentially probably Jason Todd or Dick Grayson, one of the Robins, and obviously this has affected Batman, and that's why he acts the way he does, and that's why he uses guns and uses all this other stuff. The warehouse scene is quite good as well, but I think they didn't nail the ending by any means. Zack Snyder really flunked it with the whole Doomsday and everything like that. I think having Batman vs Superman this early just didn't work. I feel like I get what Zack Snyder was trying to do with the ideologies of Superman and Batman and trying to make them combine and cause a rift between each other because one sees one as too dangerous, but I just don't feel like it came off very well. There's a lot of stuff that happens with the whole Martha scene. I think that was horrible. There's a lot wrong with Batman vs Superman that just doesn't work for me. From characters, from relationships, from the story, from the execution, and the casting choices of particular people just didn't work. So for me, coming in here at number 8 is Batman vs Superman. Number 7, Batman 89. From here on, I actually like all these films from moving on. So having it this low kind of hurts because I do like Batman 89. I think Jack Nicholson brings the Joker to life with this mobster mentality Joker that is unique, different, and his own, that fits really, really well in this universe that of Michael Keaton's universe. I think it worked really, really well having him be that contrast to Batman. And I think Michael Keaton does a good job as Bruce Wayne and Batman here as well. I think he does a great job. The story is great. I don't have any real problems with Batman 89. I'm not sitting here and going, this is a terrible movie, that's why it's down at number 7. I quite enjoy this movie. I like the Batmobile. I just feel like the ones above this are better. than this one. They do other things and execute it better. And I think as we moved forward, we saw Michael Keaton in the next film do an even better job as Batman, and I think the story was stronger. But nevertheless, this movie is quite entertaining. So for me, Batman 89 comes in right here at number 7. Number 6, Batman Returns. I like Batman Returns as well. This is the introduction of Penguin, the introduction of Catwoman as well, as they both come to the forefront for this movie. And I tell you what, I don't mind this movie. I like this movie. I think Michael Keaton does an even better job as Batman and Bruce Wayne in this movie. I like his relationship with the villains, and there is a lot going on here during this time with Penguin. And I like Danny DeVito's portrayal of Penguin in this movie. I think it is absolutely brilliant. He looks disgusting. He looks like the part, and he just delivers on so many fronts. And when I'm watching him, I'm like, that is Penguin. That's Penguin to me. The story is great as well. We have this mischievous story trying to figure out what is going on with Penguin and what are his grand plans for everything. But overall, Batman Returns I think is better than 89, but I really like it. I think Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is absolutely fantastic as well, and her whole story that she goes on as well. There's a lot in this movie, but it doesn't feel crammed, so that's good. And obviously the score as well, the classic Batman, what's it called? The Batman score is absolutely incredible as well. So number 5, Batman Forever. I absolutely love this film. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. Some people will probably have this down below in the lower ones, but for me, I really like Batman Forever. I think it's underrated, and I think Val Kilmer is underrated as Batman and Bruce Wayne. I really like his Batman and really like his Bruce Wayne in this movie. I think he does a phenomenal job. I would have loved to see him come back and play Batman again, but he is so good, and I think he's so underrated. Now, this movie is very much along the lines of a wacky Batman movie that is fantasy. So when you have the likes of Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones coming in to play Riddler and Two-Face, you're in for an absolute insane ride, and it doesn't disappoint. You are absolutely on the ride of your life. Jim Carrey is Jim Carrey-esque. His Riddler is fun, entertaining, while freaky at the same time. Tommy Lee Jones does a fantastic job as Two-Face as well. While he is more like Joker than Two-Face, I didn't mind that, but I did like the actual look of Two-Face. He did look scary, and I like how he had the two sides to him as well, which is key when you're dealing with this sort of character, and I really enjoyed that. This is our introduction to Robin. He has this sad storyline that he then gets taken in. I like his character growth as well with Val Kilmer and Batman and how they team up. That is all great. This is just a really fun movie. It's a fun movie, and I get a lot of kicks out of it. I get a lot of entertainment. So for me, coming in at number 5 is Batman Forever. Number 4, The Dark Knight Rises. The third, but the first of the Nolan trilogies to come into my list. This is the final piece to the Dark Knight trilogy. We have Bane coming as a villain by Tom Hardy. I like his Bane. I do like his Bane. I like this movie a lot more than some people do. It is definitely the weaker one out of the three, but I do like it, and I think it is a fantastic conclusion to the trilogy. That whole ending is one of the most emotional endings I've ever seen in a movie. I was crying like a little baby when that happened. The whole scene with Alfred at the tombstone, the whole moment of Bruce taking out the bomb out to sacrifice himself and all these kids seeing it and that hope is just so good. Jim Gordon's speech at the end of the movie, it's just so heartwarming. The whole moment of Batman getting his back broken and then coming back. Catwoman, Anne Hathaway is a fantastic Catwoman and a gorgeous Catwoman, should we say that. It's like just perfect. She was meant to play Catwoman. Absolutely fantastic. Christian Bale is at his best again. The moment where he's sitting in the thing about to take the bomb and he tells Gordon's like, who are you? And he tells him in this riddle sort of way, and he realizes that it's Bruce. Like, that whole moment is just absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. The only downside I have to this is the Talia L. What's her name? I can't even pronounce her name, but Talia as the villain, that was coming a mile away. That wasn't very, very good. Ra's al Ghul's daughter comes in, and I just don't think that worked. I think Bane was better at the forefront, but overall, I enjoy The Dark Knight Rises. The score is outstanding. Some of the fighting sequences are a bit off. They're not as crisp as The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and some other ones on this list, but overall, The Dark Knight Rises comes in at number 4. Number 3, Batman Begins. I love Batman Begins so much from every standpoint. I think this is one of the best original origin stories ever told in comic book history. I absolutely love Batman Begins so much. I think Christopher Nolan nailed this one. What he did so well and what I like is he had to make it refreshing. Now, we've seen the parents die multiple times, but he did it where the parents did die, but then we see Bruce has left Gotham and he is actually out training and seeing the world. He's trying to understand the criminals and their mindset and how they do things so that he has a better understanding, so when he comes back to Gotham, he can deal with that. I love that whole sequence when he's with Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson. That whole sequence is fantastic. I love seeing that. When he comes and becomes Batman, it's just absolutely brilliant. Ra's al Ghul as a villain is fantastic as well. I really, really like him. Liam Neeson nails him out of the park. Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon, fantastic as well. This is just a really, really, really good origin story. Alfred and Bruce's connection. Michael Caine is just a fantastic Alfred. So good. I love the moment where they're on the elevator going down and Bruce is basically saying to himself, like, I failed. I couldn't do it. And Alfred comes out with the line of, why do we fall? So that we can pick ourselves back up. And then when he says, you haven't given up on me, and he's like, never. Like, that is just so good. Like, that is so Alfred and Batman. That is so Alfred and Bruce. It's just absolutely brilliant origin story. And for me, it's my third favorite, and it comes in at number 3. Number 2, The Dark Knight. This was so hard to choose between the top 2. It was, on another day, The Dark Knight could be number 1. Because I think The Dark Knight is a masterpiece. I think it is absolutely near flawless. I think it is just so good. From Heath Ledger's absolute out-of-this-world performance as the Joker, which is just absolutely incredible. The way he portrayed that Joker was so good. He's so scary, so sinister, but so entertaining in the process. Christian Bale's Batman is the perfect yin-yang to the Joker. And what I love is Nolan understood the relationship between Batman and Joker. He understood that. He understood that the Joker never wants to kill Batman. He needs Batman because he enjoys it. Batman makes him feel alive, makes him feel sane. And he says that in the movie, and it's so incredible. I love the fall of Harvey Dent in this movie to come to Two-Face at the end there. It was earned. It wasn't just something that just happened, but you could see it coming piece by piece by piece by piece. And when it did happen, boom. This is why Nolan just nailed The Dark Knight. It's so incredible. From that opening sequence, which is one of my most favorite opening sequences to a movie, where we see the Joker for the first time in their bank, is absolutely incredible. Like, The Dark Knight is just so good. The score is so good. Just everything about it is just absolutely incredible. And it's that ending is just absolutely fantastic as well. Like, there's nothing I can say about The Dark Knight that hasn't already been said. It's that good. So for me, number 2 is The Dark Knight. Which leads number 1 to be The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson. The new Batman, I think, is just absolutely out of this world good. It is a masterpiece. It's a fresh new take on Batman that feels like Batman. To me, this is the perfect Batman movie. It's the perfect Batman movie. what Matt Reeves did in taking an IP like Batman and then making it his own and refreshing is unbelievable. This is a crime thriller detective movie. This is all about Bruce and Batman being a detective, not being a muscle, absolute action freak. The Riddler is so good. Paul Dano nails it out of the park with the Riddler. It gave me There Will Be Blood vibes. It literally gave me that. There's a scene where he basically does the same thing he does when he's one-on-one with Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie. It's freaking outstanding. But I like how Matt Reeves used the Riddler not as a physical threat, but as a mental threat to Batman. And it's so good because the storyline throughout is absolutely incredible, and you're trying to figure out piece by piece what the Riddler is trying to tell. And what the Riddler is, like, what makes him so good is he believes he's the hero of the story. And there's a scene that shows you that. It's also the little details that Matt Reeves puts in this movie that make it so freaking incredible. From little details like eyeshadow that just makes so much sense, and that Batman does, and that just makes this so much better. From other little details, from the actual demeanor of certain characters changing when they find out certain information or figure something out. Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon is so freaking incredible as well. Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman, incredible. The relationships throughout this film are incredible. Penguin's great. The score is incredible. The sound design is incredible. The cinematography is incredible. Everything about the Batman is incredible. It's a masterpiece in my eyes. So for me, number 1 is the Batman. So there you go, that is my list right there. Let me go through it again. At number 9, we have got Batman and Robin. At number 8, we got Batman vs Superman. At number 7, we got Batman 89. At number 6, we have got Batman Returns. At number 5, we've got Batman Forever. At number 4, The Dark Knight Rises. At number 3, we have got Batman Begins. At number 2, The Dark Knight. And at number 1, The Batman. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of my list. Well, I want to know your list as well. Smash it down there. Smash that like button for me. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe. Peace out.